Good morning. We're going to talk about Iran. We're going to talk about the billionaire Epstein Ballroom bunker today. It is actually much darker than you think. It really is. This is not just a vanity project. This is not. I see a lot of people speculating it. We're going to dig into it. We're going to get to the reasoning behind it, and yeah, it's just stick with me. I have a strategy when I do this show. It is to frame, it is to give you a lens to look through, it is to give you background information that has you thinking before we talk about the topic at hand. So let's just dive right into it. These are the things that are going on right now. If you haven't been paying attention to Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act subsidies, the exchanges, this is what's happening since the Republicans gutted all of the subsidies. It's too expensive. It's what we've all known. Private health care is just too expensive. Even the private health care offered on the government exchanges is too expensive. And millions of people are opting to go without. That's what's happening right now. That means people aren't going to get care. That means people are going to end up in deep financial trouble when things happen, as things do. Um, Cancer, heart attack, high blood pressure, car accidents, broken limbs, life. Comes at you fast, man. It really does. If you don't have health insurance, it tends to bankrupt you when it does. And this is what's happening. This is what Republicans have done. This is what Trump has done. They're moving us backwards. And they're doing it on purpose. It is their intent. It is what they want to happen. We said this, we talked about this for a very, very long time. We Democrats, while we watched our power base shrink, while we watched our power diminish, we Democrats were screaming, look, man, you need to pay attention to these Republicans. They're serious about this. They're going to take Roe v. Wade away. They're going to overturn it. And people just said, you're being hyperbolic. No, they're not. And the Republicans that were going to overturn it just lied to your face. Oh no, it's settled law. It's it's settled. And folks like me were saying, no, I know these people. I know where they're trying to go. And now Roe is gone. We also said, look, they're trying to come after your birth control. They are. They're trying to come after your birth control. They really want to take away your birth control. And people are like, that's not going to happen. Well, they've already started to do it. They've already started to do it. It's not just mifepristone. It's not just the, plan B. It's not just under the guise of abortion. Save the babies. There is no baby when you use mifepristone. There's not even a fetus at that point to save, but they've done it. Right now, the Supreme Court is hearing a ruling again on draconian regulate, and that's the way they're going to do it. They're going to regulate it out of existence. You already hear right wingers talking about voting. They're saying it out loud if you'll just listen. If you'll just listen to what they're telling you and believe them. They're telling you. I listened to a man the other day tell me with full-throated confidence that every household should have one vote. That a man should listen to his wife, but he needs to be the man and make the decisions. That's where they're going, folks. This is not hyperbole. This is just like you didn't believe me before when I told you everything else. They're really wanting to go. They're really wanting to roll us backwards. And it's for varying reasons. It is. But I will tell you, the people that matter, the ones with the real power, have a very, very, very dark reason for funding this stuff. There's a reason these fringe nutters that used to live in trailers back in the woods because they couldn't afford anything suddenly have patriarchs and are being moved mainstream, saying things out loud that used to be just unthinkable. We had a little scare on a cruise ship that had nothing to do with us. Boats over by Africa. But we had an outbreak of hantavirus. Now, hantavirus isn't new. It's been around forever. I actually had a discussion with my son about hantavirus, about if he ever sees mouse droppings, that he's not to clean it up, that he's to call me. Because if you see mouse droppings and you just vacuum it up, you're aerosolizing hantavirus. If that mouse has hantavirus, you're aerosolizing it if you use a vacuum. There's a procedure, you can look it up online, for cleaning up mouse droppings. And every once in a while, you get some old hillbilly boy out here that has mice where he keeps his feed out in his barn and he goes to clean up. And he'll use a rake and he'll aerosolize that shit. And hantavirus will kill you, man. It will. It will. It's very rare. It's very rare. But this outbreak spurred conversations, and Mrs. Texas Paul and I did a little celebration yesterday. Yesterday was Cinco de Mayo and Taco Tuesday. So we went and got some Mexican food. We went and got some tacos, some birria tacos. Delicious, by the way. Just delicious. Shout out to Mary's in Gilmer, Texas. Oh, man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. But we're on the way back. Mrs. Texas Paul's flipping through her phone. She's the passenger princess. I'm the driver. And she's flipping through her phone, reading some, and this story about the hantavirus comes up on this cruise ship that, again, it doesn't really affect us. It's on the other side of the world, and it's not going to be the next COVID. It's not. It's just not. But it's a sad, tragic story. But what was really tragic was the comments section, and I'm going somewhere with this. This was on Facebook. This story, this news article was on Facebook. And what do you think the comments suggested everybody needs to do for hantavirus? And it wasn't what I just told you, which is, do a little research, quick little search on hantavirus and cleaning up rat droppings. Take you 2 seconds on Google. There's a few little steps I put paper towel down over the top of it. I wet the paper towel with a disinfectant. I get rubber gloves. I get a respirator and I clean the mess up if that ever rarely happens. What do you think the comments said? Bingo. I love you people. I love you people so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. It was loaded with people. It was loaded with people that kept saying over and over and over again, oh my God, they're going to be driving around in their cars with masks on again. Oh, I'm really set for this next shutdown. I got ivermectin. You need to get your ivermectin. Yeah, that was really it. That was really it. And it set me down this whole thing. How do we get here? How did that become a thing? How did people end up full-throatedly on social media, on the news, on it, saying things that are so insane? And I'm not talking about the dummies. I'm not talking about the stupids that are repeating the shit. See, they were told this. It was somebody that came on social media and said, I'm a doctor, when they were, a chiropractor or something. I'm a doctor and I'm telling you ivermectin really works. And it really works well if you take it in conjunction with my special supplement. So yes, go to my website and buy my supplement and take your ivermectin. And they just rode this wave that was, people like Joe Rogan. People like Joe Rogan. They rode this wave of misinformation and they just made a living off of it. And it still happens. It is still happening. It is all over the place. And it is causing more and more problems. Stick with me. Forgive me. I had a little catch in my throat there. Um, so you've got this entire cottage industry online of people that are more than they're like the lampreys on the shark, the suckerfish. They're not the shark. They're just crooks. They're people willing to take money from people by scaring them. And it's a cottage industry all over social media. It really is. But it is leading to real problems because things that get said are just amplified. And we end up in situations like this. This is really a thing that's happening. And again, I'm wanting to frame the main story. We're going to get to Trump and his ballroom and all of that. But I want you to have a lens to look through when we talk about that. This is really happening. Babies are bleeding to death. Babies are having strokes. This is really happening. As parents reject a vitamin shot given at birth. If you don't know what vitamin K is, let me give you some background information. Okay? This is Dr. Heinrich Daum. He's a Danish doctor from the early 1900s. He was part of a medical movement. He was part of a medical movement that said, through observation and what we consider the modern scientific method, they were able to look at problems and say, why don't we just fix it? Why don't we just do what we can do to fix it? And one of the things that he discovered was that babies, when they're born, don't have the ability to clot. Their blood does not clot. They don't have a vitamin called vitamin K in their system. It's something that you make, I make, and babies eventually do make, but it doesn't transmit well through placenta or breast milk. So babies really don't have it. And what it helps you do is it helps your blood clot. And babies will make their own. They will, their livers will eventually kick in and they will make their own. But there's a gap from when a baby's born and when they're actually full blown, blowing and going, making their own vitamin K. So Dr. Heinrich Dahm said, you know what? I got an idea. I just stick with me, people. I got an idea. When babies are born, let's give them a shot of vitamin K. Just to get them through that gap till they start feeding, till their own processes take over. We'll get them through that little short window when they're born. Just a vitamin shot. And we did it. And it worked. And again, we're not just talking about vitamin K and this one issue. It was an entire scientific movement that said, hey, let's identify problems and let's just fucking fix it. And this is where vaccinations came out of. This is where modern medicine, and man, it worked. And I need you to stick with me because we're going somewhere with this. And I need you to remember this. Pay close attention to this because this is critical. This is from the early 1900s to 2000, last century. This is infant mortality. That's babies dying before 1 year of age. This is real. This is because of things like Dr. Dom saying, hey, you know what? We got this issue. Just a little vitamin shot when a baby's born. Science. Which brings me back to one of my favorite stories. And again, I just stick with me. This is a good thing. Y'all know Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Y'all know Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He tells a story. It's not a story. It's real, but it's an eye opener. He's an astrophysicist. He's widely considered one of the smartest people on the face of the planet. The guy sitting with him is a guy by the name of Chuck Nice. They do a show together called Star Talk. And I get it all the time. Paul, what's your background? How do you know so much? How are you so informed? Because this is what I do. This is my personality. I seek out really smart people and I listen to them. People like Dr. Tyson. And he tells a story. He just wants to open people's eyes. And the story he tells is, during caveman times, by the age of 30, half the people died. It was like a 50% mortality rate by the time you're 30. By the time from caveman times to 1840, how much do you think we improved that? From cavemen living in caves, where the mortality rate for 30 and under was about 50%. How much do you think we moved that needle by 1840? By 1840, and you can verify this. This is something you can look up and verify. 5 years. We moved it 5 years. It was now 35. Half the population had died. 30 by 35, half the population was dead. Now keep that infant mortality chart in mind that I just showed you. Now, Now, he loves to point this out, and it is very eye-opening, and it really is. Every one of those people in 1840 that were dying before the age of 35, they ate organic. There were no pesticides. They ate organic. The water was clear. The air was clear. There was virtually no pollution. They all ate free range, grass fed animals. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So, from 1840 to now, what do you think? Without Googling it, don't Google it. Don't Google it. What do you think the survival rate, if you're an infant born today, by the time you reach 30 years old, what do you think the survival rate is? Remember, it was 30%, and then by 1840, it became 35% of the people died. So it went from a 50%. By the time we were 35, it was still 50%. What do you think it is today? Couple really close guesses there. 80% is what most people will say. 97.5%. If you're born today, 97.5% of the babies born today will live to the age of 30. That's from 1840 to today. We're at 97.5% of babies, and we're talking about with war, we're talking about with diseases, we're talking about with all the things that they terrify us with. The survival rate of an infant born today, they have a 97.5% chance of making it to 30. Why? Well, it's not all the shit that they're selling you on Instagram. Not the vitamins, it's not the free range food, it's not the grass fed, it's not the pollution, it's not the none of that. What is the one damn thing that's changed? Science. It's science. It was that revolution, that scientific revolution that we had that said, you know what? If there's a problem, let's study the problem, learn what the problem is. And I don't know, if we can fix it, fix it. Hence vitamin K. That's what changed. And now we live a very long time, and a lot of us make it. A lot of us make it. This is the global population chart because we got really freaking smart and said, hey, let's look at what's killing us and let's fix that. Scientists like Dr. Heinrich Dam said, you know what? Hey, you know what I mean? Let's just fix that. This is a chart of global population. About the same time that we started saying, hey, you know what? People don't have to die stupidly. Let's just fix that. Look at what happens to global population. It explodes. It explodes. It does. And there's a lot of people out there that can do math. They know, given the way we currently live, there's only so much fresh water. There's only so much food that we can produce. at the current rate we're producing carbon per person, there's only so much of that we can put in the atmosphere before we just destroy the whole system. That's a problem. It really is. It really is a problem. There's a thing called the great filter. It's a concept. It has to do with, okay, why do we not look out? We can look out now. We can see worlds. We can actually see that, worlds out there and detect signs of life. We would know what to look for, but we see nothing. Nothing. Why isn't why isn't the universe just filled with life, given the fact that we know there are trillions upon trillions of worlds out there? And they came up with the concept of the great filter. And that is that, looking at ourselves, we said, you know what? I guess there's going to be a point where either we may be too stupid to survive. Yeah, Fermi's paradox. Exactly. I love that you people are so informed. I love spending time with you. I really do. Fermi's paradox. And what the great filter is, says that there's something that's happening that we can't be the only life in the universe. It's just something is ending it. Mathematically, it makes no sense that we're the only life. It must be civilizations are reaching a point and then they're destroying themselves. That's got to be it. Basically, Cliff's Notes of what the great filter is. Boy, I'm gonna get some emails over that. I am. Well, we're facing one of those situations. We got smart enough to keep people from dying, but we're not smart enough to build, cities of the future. We're not smart enough to invest. We're not smart enough to say, okay, look, we're going to have a lot of people on this world. We got to make it work. At least not all of us are. And this is where I'm telling you, it's going to get really dark here. It's going to get really dark here for a second. It is. Because it has to do with how we look at this going forward. Look at this issue going forward. And yes, we're still going to Trump's ballroom/bunker. We are. Let's read some comments, and I want you to put a pin in this because we're going to talk about a couple other dots that we've got to connect here. Stick with me. It's going to be interesting. I promise you. Let's get caught up. I don't get too far behind on the comments, too far down the road, because then the comments don't apply to what we're talking about. Marshall Cash. The national average for gas is fixing to be $7 soon, according to analysts, and I am sure the new Fed chair will cut interest rates. The country is going to shit. I was actually watching somebody talk about this, and they were saying that's actually a scare tactic. That yes, gas prices will continue to rise, but he's saying that $7 figure is kind of an apocalyptic number that triggers a lot of problems within the economy, the global economy, that are basically it's like a disaster trigger. And what they're saying is that no, you're going to see it climb to, like right now, it's just about to hurdle over that $5 figure. Now, I'm not talking about where you're at. It may be higher than $5 where you're at. It is less than $5 where I'm at, because I live in a place that has some of the cheapest gas in the country. Y'all know it varies by different places. We're talking about national average is what we're talking about. And it's creeping over that $5 mark. What more serious people in the industry are telling me is, look at $6. It's going to be painful. It's going to continue to grow. But that $7 number, and no smoke towards you. I mean, you are saying exactly what a lot of the newspaper articles and stuff that they're putting out are. But I'm telling you, I'm listening to people in the industry, and they're going, nah. Nah, nah. $6. $6. That's where the national average is going to peak, about $6, and that's going to hurt, man. That is going to hurt. That means, you know, in California and places, because distribution is a thing, supply and demand is a thing. So, if the national average is $6, it'll be, 480 here, but in some places in California, it will be $9, $10 a gallon. So yeah, it's going to be painful. Don't misunderstand me when I say that. But yeah, I get your point. I do. I get your point. But that I just want to call attention. That $7 figure is a bit of a scare tactic. It is. And the real industry experts are saying no, no. They're dismissing that out of hand because the math doesn't match with the supply versus what we can actually pull out of the ground. Development over time, and yeah, it's complex. It is. Rich Lawton, thank you for being so generous. Thanks for gifting the memberships, brother. There are free memberships to be had. Hit that join button. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. Let's do this. Let's do this. Jordan B. Miller, the Epstein Trump Ballroom is a massive corruption grift for corrupt Trump. It is actually that and more. And more. You're going to stick with me for this. Tiny Dog Dragon, thank you for gifting the memberships, really. Thank you for being so generous. Agent Cajun's on. Good morning, Texas Paul and Mrs. Texas Paul and the rest of the team here. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Kyra loves Michael. Good to see you, Kyra. Say hi to Michael for us. We've got to talk about the kids' sports photo op in the White House. The man is insane. That on top of everything else, what will it take? Amen. He sat there and just, these kids are there for a photo, and he's just going on and on and on about talking to these kids about shit that's just, anyways, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Skeets there. This started for the right in 1865. Skeets, they will go after the pill once the heat from the voting rights subsides. Yeah, they are. They are intending to move us backwards, and I'm about to explain the thinking behind it. ET, do not forget, there are still many other poison pills from the ugly bill that are still due to drop after the midterms. People, get involved now. Yep. Dave Barone, this is not shit that we're making up. We're not being hyperbolic. Dave Barone, thank you for supporting the show, brother. Tiger Butterfly. ProPublica Texas lawmakers repeatedly failed to pass legislation that could have protected residents from deadly floods. Every Texan needs to read it. Yeah, ProPublica is a great source, folks. They really are. Midas, ProPublica, there's several really great sources out there, and I'm sure people will list them in the comments. They're go-tos for good information. I like Mother Jones also. There are some good sources out there. June Osborne, I believed you. Good morning, Ride or Die crew. Yep. This is why women choose the bear. Amen. I hear you. Anna Wachowski, welcome. Thank you. Happy Wednesday to you. Can you believe it's already midweek already? Man, this time is just flying by. Ollie, all the rats are in the White House. Yep. Gail Brownell, I think we should start asking MAGA parents if they're telling their daughters not to worry about going to college, just get married and have babies. Yeah, they are. It is common. I'm telling you, I live with these people. It is common to talk about how universities are just woke indoctrination system. You shouldn't even go to college. That is a really, really common. They're not just telling their daughters that, they're telling their sons that. Yeah. Skeet Sayre, ivermectin. I have a bottle of the elixir of life to sell you. Nothing is new. Yep. So what exactly is an armadillo? It is a cute little thing you should never touch. They're precious, cute little things. When they're rescued and they're disease-free, people have them for pets, which you shouldn't do, but still, they do. And they're all over the internet. They're just the cutest little. I saw one playing with a dog toy the other day. It's a little armored little creature, but in the wild, they carry tuberculosis. They just stay away from armadillos, man. They burrow and make burrows underground. They eat bugs. They're very beneficial. Leave them alone. Don't touch them. Skeet Sayre, what the fuck? Vitamin K is not a threat. US doesn't even have free health care for the this is insanity. Yeah, folks, and this is really happening. This is a big thing. We have babies right now that are having strokes, that are having brain bleeds and more because they're just dying because people will not get the vitamin K shots because there are grifters on social media that are telling them, "Don't do it. Don't do it." It's insane. It's insane. Then you've got people like RFK that are in positions of power that are spreading misinformation and that are trying to roll back all of the advances that we made, and we're going to get to it here in just a minute. Chandra Patton, good morning. Good morning to see you. Good to see you, Chandra. ET, well, if they sell it on AON, then it must be good for you. People, if you don't get involved, then these idiots will forever be running things. Yep. Amen. Agent Caden John, I watched another video from Charlie Angus where he questioned where the 50K troops coming out of Germany are going to be staged. And the comment mentioned was possibly the border of Canada, not now, and that now concerns me. Actually, they've already been talking about, John, they're being shifted mostly to other countries in Europe. A few of them are coming back to the States. And it's not 50. They're not pulling 50,000 up. It's like 5,000 right now. Skeet Sayre, dogs in the 1970s lived double the average of today's dogs. Penicillin changed the world. Yeah, science, baby, science. Kyra loves Michael. If vaccinated, if not, we go back. Yep. Amen. Mr. Knutson, we're almost caught up. Stick with me. We're going to get right back to work. Mr. Knutson, it should be 99.9%, but thanks to science deniers, it's regressing in red states. Yep. Skeet Sayre, the biggest contributor to human health in the 20th century was building the Panama Canal. There are so many. That's why I said it's not just vitamin K, but that is a big one. That is an easy one. It's just a shot for they used to give every baby in hospitals, and we didn't have the problems that we're having now. And doctors are just begging people, ER doctors, the pediatricians, everybody, they're all just begging people to don't listen to this one. Don't. It's just a vitamin. It's just a vitamin that baby's going to make itself. It's going to make it itself in a few weeks. And all we're going to do is just help it through that little gap. And it's huge for infant mortality. ET, scientists are saying that New Orleans will be gone. William G. Atheist, Trump and Putin's world. Now we have to spend trillions on crap to kill each other instead of healthcare and education. Yep. Hip Justice, welcome. Glad to see you. Glad to see you grab a membership there. Mother Mesquite, Arco Santi Palos Solari's alternative city being built since the 70s in Quartz Junction, Arizona. China is making moves towards this, and we're going to talk more about that here in just a second. Marsha Klepper, thank you for being so generous. Thank you for gifting the membership. There are free memberships out there. If you are watching this and you're not a member, there are people that want to give it to you. Just take it. Peter Campbell, thank you for being so generous. Dr. Dag, glad to see you. 2-month milestone. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you. Okay, let's get back to it. Now, I want you to put a pin in what we've been talking about. And now we've got to talk about people, just people in general. There are different kinds of people. We've talked about a problem, okay? We're not going to forget that. We're going to come back to that problem here in just a second. Now, let's just talk about people. We talked a little bit about the grifters and the people that are willing to do anything just to grift money. Well, let's talk about billionaire. The people that are the money behind it, how wealthy they are. These are not bright people. They're not. Trump came out and said this stuff. Okay. First of all, it was, we have a ceasefire. We don't have to do the whole war powers thing because we have a ceasefire. The fighting has stopped. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No, it did not. We did not have a ceasefire. We didn't. We didn't. One second. Trump in the White House bragged about destroying 7 Iranian boats. They shot at our boats. All while claiming we have a ceasefire so they don't have to get war powers authorization. They're shooting at each other. The UAE civilian ships got hit. Trump had this ridiculous thing called Operation Freedom, where he said that the U.S. is going to escort boats through the Strait of Hormuz just to show people that it's open. It's open. And we said, no, it's not. No, it's not. We talked about it over and over and over again, that this is like shooting ducks in a barrel. And that's exactly what happened. Well, yeah, Operation Freedom is over. Over. So Trump comes out and says, Operation Freedom's over. We're no longer escorting ships through the strait because, wait for it, we've got a new ceasefire. That was not a new ceasefire because the old ceasefire was never broken, because if the old ceasefire really didn't exist, then he would have to get war powers authorization. So really it's not a new ceasefire, but it is a new ceasefire. And if they don't adhere to this negotiation, and they don't come to an agreement with us immediately, we're going to bomb the shit out of them. But yeah, we're not going to be escorting ships through the strait anymore because there's a ceasefire? No, because shit's getting blown up. Trump wants you to believe because there's a super great negotiation that's happening, man. Woo, making a lot of progress. Yeah, that's why we're not going to escort them ships anymore. This is all bullshit. All of it. All of it. There is no ceasefire. The bottom line is they're cowards. They are terrified. They are absolutely terrified of holding that vote on war powers. They don't want to do it. They're absolutely 100% terrified of holding that vote. So instead, we are illegally engaged in military activity. That is, again, 100% patently illegal. Folks, May 1st was the deadline. That was the 60 days. After 60 days, an administration, no matter what the administration is, must go to Congress to get authorization and funding and all these things from Congress, must have their approval to continue this. The blockade, any actions at all in that region, in that conflict, for the purposes, no matter what it is, must be approved by Congress. And the Republicans have abdicated their responsibility. And the Trump administration is just pretending that the Constitution doesn't exist, that laws don't exist, because they don't want the political fall. Politics is everything. Right means nothing. But billionaires are idiots. And I can prove it. I can prove it. Because Trump saying again, that, oh man, we're close to an agreement. Oh yeah, we're close to an agreement. We got a new ceasefire, even though all of this just happened. The UAE just got hit. Ships just got hit. They're firing on our Navy. We're firing on their Navy, sinking their boats. Oh yeah, man. None of that really happened, I guess. Wag the dog, and they're eating it up, man. They're idiots. They're idiots. They're idiots. The billionaires among us are fucking idiots. And it's not just the Dow, it's not just the market taking off over the same stupid shit Trump has said over and over and over again. It's this shit all over again. Oil dropped like $10 a barrel. It's now in the mid 90s. It was well over 100 while we were, sinking their boats in the middle of a ceasefire. But Trump said there's a new ceasefire, man. And oh, by the way, they've said because it's a new ceasefire, that the clock, we don't have to get that war powers authorization. This is a new conflict. We'll come up with a new name for it. Operation Freedom is not Operation Epic Failure. That's something new. So we don't have, no, the clock's not ticking anymore. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're just cowards. They're just weak. They're just stupid. They're just stupid. And I'm going somewhere with this. People have this belief that for some reason, because somebody became a billionaire, that they're super smart or they're next level, or they're not. They're not. Bill Gates, right place, right time, and a set of laws that'll protect his financial well-being. A set of laws that are geared to protect the billionaires. That's all it is. Right place, right time. Zuckerberg, same thing. Right place, right time. That's all it is. These are not brilliant people. They're not. They're not. They are just like you and me. And I can prove it. This is a side by side. And I'm going to prove to you that they're no different than you and me. This is a side by side. Right? The reason I need one of these. I have one that's old and beat up and it smokes. It's decades old. It is trash. And I use it out here on the property. So I need a new one. And when I go to get a new one, I'm just going to get a basic utility side by side like this. I got to have one. I do. I got to have one. This is an expenditure that I'm facing right now. This is a side by side. Basic utility. Companies, security companies, these are really useful things. They are. They're tools. They're tools. And they're really freaking useful. They are. In comes Cletus. Says, you know what? Let me jack that thing up. Put some super big tires on it and some custom rims. Let's void our warranty and we'll up the horsepower. More horsepower. Hold my beer, man. Hold my beer. Well, don't need a bed anymore. Shit, I ain't hauling nothing in this. It's the same thing. This is a side by side. This came out of that utilitarian thing that I just showed you. If you drive through the country, you will see shitty old beat up houses and these things in the driveway. These things actually on trailers in the driveway. You want to take a stab at how much these things cost? That one I showed you, the first one I showed you, the Kawasaki Mule, to get one with enough horsepower and that can drag a small utility trailer, you're talking about $14,000, maybe $15,000. What do you think these jacked up, customized? Damn, y'all are pretty good. 30K. Some of them get to be even more. Yeah. 40K. You would think that this one is off the scale. You would think, oh no, it's not. It's not. Cletus, that doesn't have a retirement, Cletus that goes without health care, he'll tell you, I pay as I go because them hospitals, if you got insurance, this is things that people have actually said to me. If you have health insurance, them insurance companies, they charge you astronomical. If you say, okay, how much for cash? You can get a broken arm fixed for $1,500. But if you got insurance, they want to charge like $30,000. It's they really say shit like this. They really do. And now these side by sides have turned into monstrosities like this. I mean, they're going next level, man. I saw one, I shit you not, 2 years back, I saw one that had ostrich leather seats. Yeah. Yeah. And the guy that owned it, he had well over $100,000 pickup truck. His net worth was negative. He didn't have anything but debt. A $2,000 truck payment in one of these monstrosities that's a toy. It's a fucking toy. You ain't hunting with it. They scream so damn like you're not, okay? This is stupid shit that stupid people do. It just is. And I can hear them all, don't be a hater just because you can't afford one. You can't afford one. You can't. You don't have investments. You don't have a retirement. Your family's not cared for. You're buying this shit because you're fucking stupid. And you want to keep up with the Joneses. One idiot bought one and you thought that looked cool, so you had to go buy one. That's what poor, stupid people do. It is. But I want to prove to you that people are people, even billionaires. The only difference is the toys change. Yeah. Rich people used to have yachts. Now they've got these yachts. Because that's the thing. That's the keeping up with the Joneses. The billionaires, there's only a handful of them out there. There's only a few thousand billionaires in the world. But they're buying these monsters. That's a sailing yacht. This is real, folks. This is not AI. This is a real yacht. There's another one. They're literally inventing ways to make these things that are already nice. I mean, a yacht's a yacht. You're going to go do yacht things in it. Oh no, they had to make them with hatches on the side where you could load and unload another boat, which is more expensive than any boat that you'll see on a freshwater lake. Hell, the boat this thing drags around costs more than in your house. The rich guy that his house costs less than the boat that this thing carries around. And they're just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. This is real. This is owned by a Russian oligarch. These things are costing billions of dollars now. So yeah, just like Cletus with his side-by-side, billionaires do it too. They do it too. They take something that is really just meant to be, just a luxury to let you know. Oh no, oh no, and they're getting bigger and bigger and faster and faster. You should see. Forgive me. Did a lot of mowing yesterday. My allergies going crazy. You should see the concepts. I'm not even going to show you all the concepts of what's being built. They've already, blueprinted these things, and they're just waiting for Johnny Got Rocks to pull the trigger and hand over the money. But these things they've got to be faster. They've got to be more horsepower. They've got to be, they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and faster and faster and faster and faster. And hell, now they're doing submarines. Yeah, yacht slash submarines. No shit. No shit. Because they're just as stupid as Cletus. They are. They're just as stupid as Cletus. I want that's the whole point of that. Is I want you to understand that just because they're billionaires, I mean, you saw what's going on with the Dow today. You knew immediately when Trump said, "Oh, there's the deal," and this, it was bullshit. You know what this deal has moved to? I already told you. The Iranians made a deal with Obama to hand over all of their nuclear material, to have inspections. They don't want this headache. They don't. They want security. They want security guarantees. That's what they want. They don't want this nuclear headache. They've already given it up in the past. Trump's got to have that, man. It's got to, that's part of the deal is you got to give up the nuclear. Well, they already wanted to give that up, man. What are they getting in return? The removal of all sanctions. The removal of all sanctions. And the unfreezing of all of Iran's assets globally that have been seized for violating those sanctions. We're talking about tens of billions of dollars. You remember how upset they were when Iran was suing in world court and we had illegally seized some of their assets and we were losing, and the world court was saying, you're going to have to hand this over. So President Obama just said, okay, here's like $5 billion of your own money back. Here you go. But he got strings attached that they couldn't use it on the military, that it had to stay in a neutral third country. They could have it, but it had to be for humanitarian purposes. It had to be all kinds of strings attached. You remember the Republicans losing their goddamn minds over that? Pretending they were sending pallets of cash to Iran. Remember that? Shrink wrapped cash, which is complete and utter bullshit. But you remember it. I just want you to, yeah, that is on the table. That is part of our proposal to them, the sweetener to them. All sanctions gone. Their money handed right back to them. In return, Trump gets to say, I got their nuclear program that they didn't want in the first fucking place. And the Strait of Hormuz goes back to the way it was before we attacked them. Iran has no governance over the Strait of Hormuz. That's it. That's the big art of the deal that's on the table that's causing the Dow to explode and oil prices to plummet. I wish I was making this up. I wish I was lying to you. Please go verify. Please go verify. The Strait of Hormuz goes back to the way it was before psychopath Netanyahu and psychopath Trump attacked. Iran gets all of their sanctions removed. Iran gets all of their money released back to them globally that's being held in banks all over the world. Nope, compensation is not on the table. That's what we're saying. We're still in the negotiation part. Compensation is not on the table. That's not on the table right now. What's on the table is what I'm telling you. This is what's being asked for. Now, Iran's going to ask for compensation, and they're going to ask for security guarantees. That's the whole point of giving up. That's going to be the tit for tat for giving up the nuclear program that they want to give up anyways. They don't want a nuclear program. They want security guarantees, and they're going to get them. So what do we have? We've got an Iranian regime that is worse than the one that Netanyahu murdered. We got an Iranian revolution that is over. We got an emboldened Iran that's going to get a boatload of their sanction money back. And we're going to peel away all the sanctions on them. Boy, I bet they're discouraged from doing bad shit in the future. That's where we're at, folks. And that is what's making the smart people on Wall Street go nuts. That's what's making the Dow explode. That's what's making oil prices plummet. They think that this is a good thing. Or shit you not. Okay. It's a good place to pause because the conversation's about to change. William G. Atheist, Trump and Putin's world now, we have to spend trillions on crap to kill each other with instead of healthcare. Exactly. Don't skip vaccines, Kimberly. Correct. Mike Daly, the Dim. 4-month mark on your membership. Congratulations, brother. Good morning, brother. Sorry I missed Sunday's show. Just completed coursework for my master's degree in music. Note to everyone, without science, your music would suck. Amen, brother. Amen. I'm looking at my acoustic guitar over there. I'm actually going to pay somebody to teach me to play that damn thing the way I want to play it. I'm about to start taking up as old as I am, I'm about to start taking guitar lessons and really learn to play that damn thing the way I want to learn how to play it. But I'm looking at guitars, and boy, they are way more advanced than what they used to be. Netadal, here in Denmark, if you have become pregnant, women are encouraged to take vitamin K and iron during pregnancy. Yeah, and we've got nutters here in the U.S. Martha Stiegel, good to see you. Glad to see it. Bluebird, good morning, Texas Paul. The U.S. regime 100% want to leave Germany alone. Even Ramstein, great news for me as a German, bad news for the U.S. Greetings to the community. You know, that's that whole, what's going on in Germany is that whole the world needs us thing. And yeah, we contribute hugely to the German economy because of Ramstein and that massive facility. What is it, like 85,000 American troops there that are all participating in the German economy there that, they want to threaten to make this. No, that's not going to happen. It's not. That's insanity. That is insanity. ET, many blue dots are pushing for military to take control and stop all of this. Commander Bobby Jones, Anchor Watch, discussed this and why we need to be active. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of very scared people out there. There really are. Kimberly George, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you. Jenny, 2025, the true Operation Freedom, removing Trump from office or at least checkmating the insanity, and we're all in it. Yep. Glenn Kaneko, wow. Wow. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for being so generous. There are free memberships for you to have. Join the community. Pick one up. It's free. Just hit the join button. All you got to do. All you got to do. Marshall Cash, billionaires are dumbasses. Many of them are. Very much dumbasses. Weird Idaho liberal. Good to see you, brother. Out with the big support today, brother. Lindsey Graham allegedly has another wonko thing he does. Likes to be doused in pancake syrup while he yells out, "Yeah, baby, I'm a flapjack." You crack me up, man. You really do. Gonna miss you today. Catch you on the replay. Peace out. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Man, I'm telling you what, Lindsey Graham's pizza delivery guy, he's got some stories, brother. He's got some stories. Leonard Thomas, when the poor give to the rich, the devil laughs. Yep. Omniscient Sphinx. These millionaires just fall ass first into money. A lot of times they do. They're born into it or circumstance. Right place, right time. Right place, right time. Best antidepressants ever. Republicans and Trump out of office. Two drunks, a heroin addict, and a billionaire walk into the White House. Oh, wait, that's our current administration. Yep. Yep. Melissa Grubb at the emergency department I work in during the summer, there are more injuries and deaths because those things than all other injuries and deaths combined. Telling you. I'm telling you. UT, he's not even going to he's not even going to that muddin get involved. He's not even going to take that muddin. They do. They do. They bury them things in mud around here. They do. They do. They really do. They take and they go out and they break these damn things and can't afford to fix them. FCAT 1666, all this redistricting, and they're just creating purple districts. Yep. Yep. Mr. Knudsen, Cletus UTV needs a bling trailer to pull the groceries back from the liquor store. Billionaires needs a yacht with 5 helicopter pads. I'm telling you, stupid does not have a class. It doesn't. Kate Marylight, one of the reality shows on TV is Hot Yachts Miami, and there are others. Yep. E.T. Not only the moneyed toys, but the reality TV shows for Cletus to watch about the people working on those toys. If you're not involved, why the F not? Yep. Couple more, and we're going to get right back to it. Jaina, 1971. Still haven't shown us one that wouldn't look better sitting on the ocean floor. I'm telling you. Carl Rossi, the U.S. population to billionaires is 2,800 thousands of 1%. The total number of GOP is 29 thousands of 1%. S. Biller has said our population should be 160 million. I know where he can start cutting. We're going to talk about that. This is the direction we're going. ET plus Cuba is next. Cuba is next on the list. Get involved. They're really trying to gin up support for that right now on the right wing. They are. That guy Nick Shirley did a YouTube where he claimed he was being held in Cuba. Yeah. Mr. Knudsen, did Trump win enough stupid prizes yet? 2 more. Thomas Kane celebrating the sale of Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, which was shuttered on 5/3 to ownership by the nonprofit Vinatilis Institute. Local media important. By the way, hope you like the picks from the NFL draft. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. V-Man. Hey, Paul, according to a ProPublica report, Donald Trump shelved an investigation into drugs for vote scheme in Puerto Rican prisons involving Puerto Rico's MAGA governor, Jennifer Gonzalez. Party of voting integrity, my ass. Yeah, there's a lot out there going on. We can't keep track of it all. We just can't keep track of all the shit that is going on. There's just too much. But look, we've established that billionaires are dumbasses. We have. We've established that shit doesn't, there's no class barring of stupidity. Billionaires are just as stupid as everybody else. They have the same flaws, same problems. And I'm telling you folks, when it comes to dealing with issues, that can get very dark very fast. It really can. There's one more quick that just so you know, the Iran thing. Assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary epic fury, or as I call it, epic failure, will be at an end, and the highly effective blockade will allow the Hormuz Strait to be open to all, including Iran. If they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be, sadly, at a much higher level and intensity than it was before. Thank you for the attention to this matter, President. So, yeah, dumbass, just same shit, different day, more threats. And Wall Street believes it. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about where we're going. Let's talk about the Epstein Ballroom / bunker and what it's really about. What it's really about is there's two different worldviews. We talked about the problem, and folks, any way you slice it, it really is a problem. I mean, this is a problem. This is just like infant mortality or any other problem that we look at. You look at it, okay, there's a problem. What do we do about it? Well, there's two divergent paths whenever you talk about this problem. There's people like me, and I like people. I do. This is my yacht. This is my yacht of choice right here. This is my yacht of choice. Me and Mrs. Texas Paul had a dream. We did. We had a dream. Our shared dream was to live beneath our means, save as much money as possible, try not to be idiots. We succeeded on some fronts, others we didn't. And travel. And what we discovered is we're not fancy travelers. We're not fancy travelers. And I'm not knocking Carnival cruises. Carnival cruises are fun. They're nice. They are fun. I like them because I like people. I like people. Now, we tried a couple of those hoity-toity cruises over the years, and it just wasn't for us. It's like a floating mortuary, man. I like Carnival cruises because they have pulse. They're people, good time. People just disrespect Carnival. I don't get that. I don't. They're still nice. They are. But I like this. I like this. This is my idea of a yacht. I bring all my luggage on. I put it in my hotel room, my floating hotel room, and the hotel goes with me. I get to someplace nice. I spend a few hours there, get back on my floating hotel room, and leave. Don't have to carry luggage around. It is the laziest, easiest, most laid back vacation there is. And the reason I'm talking about that is the view of people. To enjoy, to be like me, to be a Carnival cruise person, you've got to like people. You do. So when I look at that situation with population, I have very different ideas and views of what the fix is to that problem. I do. Compare that with this guy's views. Somebody brought it up. We're a country of 320 to 340 million people. This guy thinks it should be 160 million. Where do you think all those people are going to go? Now, we see population is trending upward, so it's not going to naturally just decrease. And this is where it gets very, very dark. And I want you to stick with me. I want you to stick with me. The GOP just did this, and I did some math on it. GOP proposes $1 billion in the immigration bill for Trump's ballroom project. Folks, that is not where the money's going. It is not going to the ballroom. The ballroom barely holds 1,000 people, and I don't care if you put gold leaf all over the place. The maximum build cost per square foot could not come anywhere near $1 billion. The reason it's $1 billion is they're building a luxury bunker. You heard me right. They've talked about, we need a bunker. Well, there's already a bunker in the White House, folks. There already is a bunker in the White House. Trump very famously fled to his bunker when people started getting pissed off and protesting. There is a bunker already in the White House. But wait for it. This is where it gets stupid. This is where it gets dark. I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole. Just like we talked about the stupid boats, the stupid yachts. Just we talked about Cletus's stupid side-by-side. Luxury bunkers and more are the new keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Let me introduce you to some people. This is Al and Naomi Corby. Al and Naomi Corby. As you see, they're holding in their hands a brochure that says SAFE on it. That is their company. Their company sells luxury bunkers. And there's a project, and I want you to Google this stuff. I want you to go down this rabbit hole. Okay, this is something that I've actually looked at before. Now, I did some math. At $1 billion, the facility they're talking about building is 90,000 square feet. That's $11,111 per square foot. Now, even if you say, okay, they're not telling you all the real square footage, that it's going to be like a 5-story luxury bunker underground, say you multiply that times 5. That gives you $2,222 per square foot, which is actually still higher per square foot than it costs to build a luxury security AI run facility. Let me give you a little tour of why they're building this. I want you to see some of the things that they're doing, okay? This is the AIRI project. It is a membership only, and they're really building this, folks. I want you to see they are really building this. This is not a concept. This is under construction. It's called the AIRI project. And what it is a membership billionaires only bunker system for the end times. Now, I told you that there are different ways of looking at this. That problem that I showed you with the growing population. Now, if I were a billionaire, if you were a billionaire, and you were looking at these challenges and what the American people want, we call it the American dream, but it's not the American dream. It is the global dream. Everybody wants this. Healthcare, basic healthcare. If you get sick, we don't let you die. A home, a home that you can leave your children so that your family can start to build its own wealth, so that your kids can be better off than you were. Food, food security. This is not a lot. This is not what, people are not asking for super yachts. People are not asking for greedy things. They're asking the billionaire oligarchs that are running things, that are paying for this shit, to say, hey, look, healthcare, a job that pays a wage that I can afford rent in the city I live, or God forbid, maybe be able to buy a house one day. These are not greedy expectations. And I'll tell you, the vast majority of the population would gladly live their entire lives with just that, and they would die happy. They would. They would die happy. The overwhelming amount of majority of the population would take that existence with just shelter security, food security, health care, and a dream for their kids to maybe do a little better. They would live their whole lives and die happy with just the experiences and things that are going on. So I would do that. If I was the one in charge, I was the one in power. Well, there's another way to look at it. And it starts with this. Because this is what the billionaire oligarch mindset is. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. See, the Airy Project, that's about the end times. And this is a thing that's actually been going on for a very long time. And when I say it's under construction, I mean it's under construction. SAFE is building the Airy Project. People like Mark Zuckerberg are involved in this. These billionaire oligarchs, you see the construction going on. There's an underground bowling alley for their entertainment. Let me just walk you through this and show you some of the pictures. Some of them, we're going to take a little side detour. Now, I know this looks like something that is like a high rise. It's not. It's not. That's using the technology to create a false image so you don't feel like you're buried underground in a bunker. It feels like a glam pool in a high rise that, you can look out, you can see the population, you can see, but it's not. It's not. That's all synthesized. That's all like an LED monitor, massive LED monitors to create this false sense that you're not buried underground. But there's going to be some sense that you're underground. And when you do, they've created this, the hobbits go to Manhattan kind of feel to it. These are the kitchens that hold on, wrong one. These are the kitchens that they've put into it, that they're building. Stick with me. We're going to walk through several different images from the Airy Project. Kind of like the hobbits go to Manhattan kind of feeling to it. But there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, it's very luxurious, depending on which one you buy. These things are, your particular bunker is going from exactly like Elysium underground. Exactly. I saw your comment there. If you haven't seen the movie Elysium, this is where we're talking about. This is where they're headed. This is their mindset. Depending on, if you buy the 2,000 square foot bunker, or the 10,000 square foot bunker, you get very different living quarters. You get your master bedroom slash sex chamber slash entertainment chamber. It's all different, but it actually starts out much darker than this kind of stuff. It does, because you'll notice, I mean, there are common areas where you're going to like get along as a society. It won't just be you. And before we get to the dark part, I just want to show you there are common areas. There are. And you'll notice this, the sink area, this kitchen sink area, but it's not all the bunker. It's not. It's not. See, you've got secret hidden entrances and tactical control facilities in your above ground home, because you don't want to live in the bunker all the time, right? You want a luxury home on top of this thing. They're building this in Virginia, by the way. They give you like this security tactical control panel that's actually hidden as an entertainment system, but it's actually your military tactical control system. And you see that the island pulls back out of the way so people can't see your kitchen island, can't see the entryway to hide your hidden stairway entry into your bunker. You started to see where it's kind of militarized and kind of you've got fast entryways built into closets and things like that drop down entryways, and then you've got separate compartmentalized entry areas. This is the foyer where you're waiting. They advertise this as where you would wait, the area on the right, where would you wait for your security to give you the all clear to actually leave. This is the foyer leading into your super luxury bunker. And the one on the left, you see this round disc in the floor, is actually a drop down where you can do an express entry into your bunker in an emergency situation. Well, emergency situation being, what exactly are we talking about? Believe me, this gets dark, folks. It does. This gets dark. Aren't these pretty chandeliers? Remember, you're not going to live in your bunker. You're going to live in your luxury house on top of your bunker. Aren't these beautiful chandeliers? Can any of you guess what's special about these chandeliers? Man, that coffee's hitting. Wild guess. Can you guess what's special about these cameras? No. Solar powered? No. Bingo. They're explosive. They're designed to detonate, to keep the hordes out. And that's not all. I mean, the houses, the luxury houses on top of these bunkers have built-in jets to fog the house with pepper spray so you can keep the hordes out. Oh, it gets darker. It gets darker. It gets darker. It does. I would like you to take a look at one of their other projects. This is actual construction on a 200-acre plot of pristine land. Yes, this is a moat. But what would be special about a moat? How about a moat with an automatic system to dump flammable fluid into it so that if the hordes attack in the end times, you've got a burning moat. Yeah, you've got a burning moat. This is not AI. This is a construction site. The billionaire oligarchs are really building this shit. And just like the side-by-sides for Cletus, and just like the yachts where they're competing with each other to have the craziest yachts, doomsday bunkers are all the rage. And that is why Trump is building a $1 billion luxury bunker in the White House with a higher build per square footage cost than this ecological disaster. Yeah, about $1,000 a square foot more than this ecological disaster. They're really doing this. And this is something that's not new to me. That's why when people are like, oh, he wants the bunker because he's not leaving the presidency, this and that, no, you don't understand. These people have decided that the world's going to collapse because we were just too smart. We saved too many babies. We're too good with the science. You've got too much health care. Women are too free. We need them to go back to making babies, and we need to go back to letting them babies die. You know, if you study history, it's really not a surprising thing to you to read about a family where they had 13 kids and 4 of them lived. They're really looking at this problem of population growth, and they're building super bunkers, luxury super bunkers, because they're going to let it all collapse. Rather than doing what I would do if I had ultimate power, which would be to just say, hey, you know what? Let's build modern cities. You know, one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life, I haven't lived my life perfectly. Me and Mrs. Texas Paul, we did okay. We did okay. But I made a horrible mistake. I moved to the country. I did. I bought into that whole, that's what you want to do. You want to build a nice house out in the country and have peace and quiet. And that's a mistake. I like people. I'm telling you, the shopping is terrible. The healthcare is terrible. The people that are like-minded that move out and do stuff like this, they're not like me. They're very afraid of people. They're like doomsday preppers around here. And there are very, very, very different ways to look at this. I've gone down this rabbit hole, and I want you to go down this rabbit hole with me. It's not just the luxury bunkers. It's not. They've built private armies. I was doing some research on that the security that these billionaires have, they're not just, bodyguards anymore. They're building private armies. And I was watching a security consultant that was talking about what he teaches his clients, his high-end billionaire clients, because he helps them build these armies. And he was telling them it's not about just pay. It's not about just recruitment. It's not about just hiring the right people with skills. He likes to tell them a story from history. At one point, Let me pull up the map. At one point, Russia, we've talked about the Silk Road before. There was another trade route. There was another trade route. This is Volgograd, Russia. At one point, you knew it from history as Stalingrad. This is Volgograd on the Volga River. It was a key trade route. You notice the Caspian Sea here. And where does the Caspian Sea go? Directly to Persia and taps into the Silk Road. Asia, India, China is farther east. And the Silk Road, as you know it, travels through Turkey into southern Europe. But there was another trade route via the Caspian Sea and the Volga River. You see modern Moscow? Our European members of the audience know this history. Very few Americans know this history. This was once a wealthy linchpin for trade. The Russians that lived in this area were very, 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 very rich from the trade that was coming off of, branching out of the Silk Road and going to Northern Europe. It was an alternative route. But what they didn't have were armies. They didn't have armies. But they noticed that these traders, yes, exactly, Morris, the Vikings traded this way. They would literally carry their boats. River to river, they would carry their boats. Big strapping Vikings would carry their boats from river to river. And this was their trade route into Northern Europe. Well, the Russians at the time didn't have an army, but they had a lot of wealth that they were garnering. They said, you know what? We need an army. We're going to get invaded. So what did they do? Remember, this is a story being told by a security consultant to a billionaire. What did they do? They hired an army. They looked at these Vikings that were passing through and said, these guys are really good with the sword. They're really good with the sword. Tough people. We should hire them. And they did. They did. And after about a year, the Vikings said, you know what? We own this now. This is ours. And it was one of those huge linchpins in Russian history and history of that region, where you saw a huge change in the population. And it was from that one tactical error of being really rich and hiring mercenary armies. And those mercenary armies just take your shit. Because when the doomsday happens and you're a billionaire and you've just hired a bunch of really kick-ass former special forces, you've got a premier army that you've trained to go from border to border, fly on jets, and how to obtain weaponry, and you've done all the work to create this effective private army. The first fucking thing that's going to happen to you when the shit goes south is they're going to take your shit. Just like the Vikings did the Russians. And he's not the first person. There are a lot of doomsday preppers around here, and I remember watching. There was it's on YouTube. If I can ever think of the name of it, I will post it. But it's a bunch of doomsday preppers, and there's an old guy, former military, he teaches people how to prepare for if shit goes south. They never say exactly what, but it's doomsday prepping. And like the first four guys talked about how they had their cabin in the woods, what they stored, what they put away, what weaponry they had, the preparations and the education, everything that they'd done. And they got around and they were all, one after the other talking about these amazing things that they've done to protect them and their family when it all goes south. And then they got to the last guy. And he said, I'm looking at 4 dead men. Y'all know nothing about people. Y'all know nothing about society. Everything you're talking about, that bunker mentality, you're a dead man. Because 50 people that are starving, that are watching their children starve, are going to come take everything you have. And you're not going to be able to fight them off. And they're going to be desperate enough to take it. You're all dead men. He said, you want to be prepared for the end times? Go to church. And I was like, what? You know me in church and all that. What? He said, no, really, go to church. Learn your skills. Learn your preparation skills, but don't hoard. Build a community. So when shit goes south, you're important and you have relationships. Stick with me. I'm going somewhere with this. We're going back to the ballroom. Stick with me. You have relationships, but you're important. You're valuable. You know how to exist and make medicine and forage. So you're valuable to your community, and they will keep you alive. They will keep you fed. Now, going back to that security consultant, he says, you know what I teach my clients? He said, I've got a client right now. The head of his security is former Mossad. He's Jewish. His son's about to have a bat mitzvah. Pay for it. Make it the best bat mitzvah he could ever dream of. And go to that bat mitzvah. Don't treat him like an employee. Treat him like family. Invest $50,000 in that bat mitzvah. And that man will die for you. He won't take your shit when the end times come. I am telling you, folks, it is this kind of manipulation. It is this kind of investment, this kind of training, this kind of hiring of consultants, this kind of strategizing. That's where these billionaires are. Go down this rabbit hole. The information's all out there. It's bunker mentality. It's, I've got mine. Fuck you. When the shit hits, because they don't love people. When Trump says, I love the poorly educated, he doesn't mean that he loves the poorly educated. He means he loves he can get over on them and steal from them, because Trump has never built anything. Casinos aren't building something. It's taking from people. His real estate business has been about taking the really stupid wealthy people and taking from them, not building and creating and contributing. Like that last guy that I was telling you about in that prepper video was talking about, build your community. Be of value to your community. Now I take it a step further. And I say, you know what? This is not a problem, because people are an asset. This is not a problem. I don't see a problem when I see our communities our population growing. I see opportunities. Educate them, feed them, clothe them. And yes, have discussions about population growth because, by the way, that spike is starting to nose over. And it's doing it naturally because people don't want to have babies anymore for all the reasons we've talked about. People are not monsters. Now, you will get people among us that are selfish. They're the ones that are the mark. When you go back to what we talked about in the beginning of the show with the grifters online that want to believe that what we've built, our society has built, the scientific advancements, all of that, they want to believe that's bad and that there's some magic knowledge that's being kept from them. If we just go back to being, eat grass-fed, free-ranging animals, have your protein be clean. You hear that? Clean protein. You hear about organic food with no pesticides. Well, that's what we all had before, and we were all dying. No, it's about science, and science is a contribution by people. So that population growth, to me, I'm not looking at this and I'm not seeing a problem. I'm not. I'm not seeing a problem. This does not scare me. This just tells me I can't exist. I know you just said, what? No, really. My life's choices are bad. They are. They are. Me and my wife living on land out in the woods where you're having to funnel infrastructure out to me. I just got high-speed internet, folks. You shouldn't have had to do that as a society, but we did. It was a government-funded project that made sure I could do this with you and have a nice, clear picture. That's a mistake, and it's one we can't continue to do. We can't continue to suburbanize our cities. We have to have real conversations about we've got to live together. We've got to build modern cities. That population growth, while yes, it's a challenge, it's a meetable challenge. One thing we have in this country and this world is land. We have land. We do. But we don't need to waste it. We don't need to squander it. We don't need to be stupid building massive suburbs. No, we've got to incentivize people. Exactly. It takes a village. It does. We've got to incentivize people to want to live in cities, to be like me, to love people. I wish that 25 years ago I had made a different choice. I wish I hadn't made it my goal to be here. I wish I had made it to my goal to have a place in the city, a nice apartment, and then a workshop somewhere where I could work. That's what I should have done. And you know what? I know we sell the dream and everybody likes the idea of being out in the country and raising animals and shit like that and this, that, and the other. Believe me, animals get old, man. They're work. They are a lot of work and it's dirty, stinky, filthy. Horses don't smell good. There's a smell to a horse that is just will make your nose hurt. It's so pungent. Horses don't smell good. Cows get diarrhea. If you've never had to take a pocket knife, peel a cow's tail that is stuck to its butt off, scrape shit off All the while, this cow that hasn't been able to poop because its own tail stuck to its own ass is shitting everywhere. You will get over your desire to own these animals really quickly. You will. It's a dream. And if it ends up being your dream, cool. Chase it. But we have to incentivize where we need to go as a society. And yes, the selfish, the MAGA, these people will hate it. They will. They'll claim it's draconian. And I'm not saying force everybody. I'm saying incentivize everybody, because that's the future, man. People. The reason we live so long now is people. People that were the smart ones among us, that we educated. The 100 Downs of the world. It will only get better, but we just have an issue that we have to manage. And that's population growth. But enough of that happiness pie in the sky. We can fix this stuff, because the people that have the power and the money and the control, that own the Republican Party, that have filled the Republican Party, are people like Stephen Miller, that tell you to your face that half our population in this country needs to vanish. People that are funding people like Robert Kennedy Jr., who's going to end up killing kids with no vaccines and that tells them lies. You know, folks, everything that Robert Kennedy Jr. is selling is what we did in the 1840s, when half of us were dying by the age of 35. It's not an accident. These same people that are building luxury bunkers with exploding chandeliers to kill you, yeah, they're okay with you dying. They think you need to. And they're telling you. They're telling you. Stephen Miller has not hid the fact that he believes there should only be 160 million people in this country. And people misinterpreted that as, oh, he wants to, use the immigration system to. No. Folks, the Nazis started with an immigration deportation system. That's what it started as. And they quickly realized that you can't do that. It doesn't work. So they just started murdering everybody. And I assure you that he has no qualms about it. These same people building luxury bunkers with rooms with nozzles filled with pepper spray and, bunkers underneath, they don't care if you die. They don't. In fact, they want you to. They want a lot of us to just die. They're trying to do this with old folks. Stop taking care of old folks, because once you're of a certain age, you're no longer productive to them. You're just living your life. To them, you're a vampire. I'm a vampire. I'm not a productive young back. They don't need me. They need me to go die. And they're telling you with their policies. They don't want Medicare. They've opposed it forever. Exactly. Folks, and it is more Elysium than you ever imagined. And again, I'm telling you right now, this is not me being hyperbolic, me saying, "Oh, I think they want to do this." This is under construction. This guy, Al Corby and Naomi Corby, they're they they're just fulfilling a need that these grifters have. They're just taking their money, is what they're doing. So don't think that I'm going after them. We're attacking them and calling them evil for building this stuff. That's not at all it. The fact that they're building separate, much less luxurious facilities for the private security people that they take with them to the bunker. I'm not. It's not the Corbys that I'm talking about. It's the billionaire broligarchs that are talking about. You're talking about Elysium. Well, they're talking about exactly that. They're talking about AI run private hospitals in their bunker. They don't want that dirty nurse or dirty doctor to have to live. They don't want to have to support employees. No, it's all AI run. You thought this AI development was about humanity or anything like that. It's about the fact that they want you to go away and die. They want you to be replaced. This is literally the AI run hospital that they're building in Erie. This is this is what they're after. I didn't, they told you, they're telling you. This is their puff article that they put out. They're saying, "Oh, we're going to build an ice cave," because they believe that shit about the whole polar bear thing, that swimming in cold water is good for you. It stimulates circulation, and so we're going to have a frigid ice cave pool. And of course, what would it be without spas? Folks, do you believe me now when I tell you this is the new arms race for these people? This is where the billionaires are, because everything I've told you, you can go, and I want you to, not just you can, I want you to go confirm this. I want you to spend some time on the internet looking at this end of days. They've chosen places like New Zealand. You wondered why billionaires were suddenly moving to New Zealand, because there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. It is part of their end of times strategy. They're building billionaire bunkers there for the end of times, when you all go die, so they can emerge from their bunkers later and run everything. Cryptocurrency? Yes, your luxury Airy membership bunker comes with an end of times currency. No shit. No shit. They're creating a fallback banking system for themselves with their own end of times kind of cryptocurrency. Fact check me that that's where these people are. They're looking at our population growth, and instead of saying, we've got to clean up our act, oh no, they're not going to stop making their billions. They're not going to cut into their profits. Oh, Lord, no. They're going to let it all happen and retreat to their bunkers. And that is what is behind Trump's ballroom bunker at 11,000 plus dollars per square foot. It's the keeping up with the Joneses, because Trump is not of their class, and it kills him. It kills him that these people don't, that they laugh at him, that he's not really of wealth. Everything he does is a grift. It's Bitcoin. It's, they laugh at him and he hates them for it. So he's going to make us build him this luxury bunker. So yeah, folks, there are two paths forward. There are. And there are people that are like, both parties are the same. But they're not. They're not. There are two very different views of the world. Spend some time with a Republican. They're all isolationists. They all hate people. They hate Americans. They hate cities with a passion. In their mind, if all the cities ended tomorrow and all the people died and went away, they would be happy. They think that would be Valhalla. They think that would be heaven on earth. We're not the same. We are not the same. We just aren't. And the problem is we keep putting our values and our beliefs on people that don't hold our values and our beliefs. And you've got some people, that are the purists that are they're even worse about it. They really think that they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the danger. Ladies, they really want to take you back to, you can't have a bank account without your husband's signature. They really want to take you back to, you can't have a credit card without your husband's signature. They want to take you back to, you cannot have birth control. They want to take you back to, you can't have a job. You must rely on your husband for everything, which gives him total control, because God wills it. And those people are funded by the same people that are building these end of time bunkers, that are telling you to your face they think it's over. They're not building this for their children. They don't think that they're going to make it to where they hand this to their children and say, oh, my family will be safe. They think they're building these for themselves to use. We always made the joke that, we keep electing Republicans to run the government who keep telling us they hate government. So they keep destroying government. So we Democrats who actually believe in government and actually believe in people have to keep coming in, and we have to keep fixing all the shit that they destroy. And we, that's who we are. We're better than they are, yada, yada, yada. It is deeper than that. It's not just government, it's society. It's your life they think is the problem. You want health care. You want a home. You want safety for your children, a job that pays enough that you can afford food, maybe a little travel. Take a few weeks off every year just to heal yourself. And when you get old, you want to be able to live out the rest of your days. That's too much. That's too much for them. And they're telling you it's too much. They're telling you that's too much by building the bunkers. Those were real construction sites, people. That was a real moat, flaming moat. They're not building these for the next generation. They're building them because they think they're going to need them now. So can you please, pretty please, with sugar on top, get involved with the party that thinks there's a future where we all live in it? Pretty please. Can you support the candidates that do only 90% of what you want them to do? Can we please not allow the purity test people to undermine us? Because what is going forward is the bunkers. It's the fucking bunkers. I'll say it one more time. They're not building these bunkers for their children to use. They're building these bunkers because they think they need to use them. And we're paying for Trump to build one for himself. So yes, pretty please, let's not make this like Roe v. Wade, where you don't take my word for it. You take some time, do a few days worth of reading, go down that rabbit hole. Do some research. Why they're building. New Zealand is a good one. Why are billionaires building bunkers, end-time bunkers, and armies and private armies? Once you start going down that rabbit hole, you'll see and hear the decisions that they're making in their heads, the precautions that they think they need to take. From what? Here comes old Texas Paul wanting that my great-grandkids, now my grandkids have already gone to college and we're already paying for that shit and everybody's ass deep in debt over college. But hey, maybe my grandkids, my great-grandkids will be able to be educated just because they can contribute. That's too fucking much to ask. And they're telling you, I'm not the one telling you this. They're telling you this. So yeah, folks, let's focus. Let's focus on getting it done. Let's elect the party. You know, right now they control none of the government. The party that is funding doomsday bunkers, they hold all three branches of government. Let's change that. And let's put the party back in the future, that in power, that believes in the future, that believes that we might need vaccinations because we might want to live in the future. Let's bring the party back that believes in science, you know, that isn't the anti-science party because they realize that science created populations, people, and they hate people. Oh my God, no more science because there's too many fucking people. Let's go back to the Let's go back to, let me break it down this way. Let's go back to the party that believes our future is Star Trek and not the party that believes our future is Blade Runner. Pretty please, with sugar on top. Scott says, it's okay, Paul. I'm 50 and taking bass lesson. Bass lesson. Thought you out fishing, brother. Are you, man? All right, man. All right. You know, I thought about that. I thought about because I'm looking at a Stratocaster. I'm looking at a Stratocaster. I think I've made a decision that I'm going to go with the Stratocaster. I may end up going with a PRS Stratocaster, not a Fender, a PRS Silver Sky. Um, Eventually, after I take, I'm gonna. This is going to get me through my guitar lessons for at least 6 months before I do anything. But yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. But I thought about a bass. I thought about, hey, learn to play the bass. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. V-Man, irony is Jennifer accused her political rival Juan Dalmo of the center-left Puerto Rican Independence Party of being tied to drug traffickers. I know. They're just insane. They're just insane. McBastards. F that UTV, hermano. You need yourself a K truck. About to swap my F-150 for one, a sensible work truck. You know, I've got a farm truck that I use for most stuff, but I'm telling you, you know, if I'm just cleaning a fence line or, you know, something like that, those those little utilities are just priceless. They are. Mandolia. Do it, Texas Paul. I'm a retired guitar and mandolin teacher. It's never too late, and nothing is more gratifying to my life than all the great musicians I helped craft. Here's a few dollars towards your first lesson. Ah, man, that is so generous of you. I really appreciate you. I really do. I really do. Thank you. Agent Cajun, I do believe that there will be some actions taken against Canada since Mark Carney's economic works in Europe. Keep an eye on that. I have 11 guitars and do learn from a guy who has a channel on YouTube called Shut Up and Play. Very good channel. That's what I've been doing. I've been self-taught, and I've already picked up the bad, you know, many of the bad habits and the, you know what I mean? I'm not disciplined enough about my practicing. So I've said, you know what? I'm going to get somebody that is an expert that knows how to teach. And because I'm investing, I know my personality. If I invest in it, I will commit to it. You know, I won't just, I don't feel like practicing today. You know what I will practice every day. If, you know, shit, I got guitar lessons on Friday. I need to make sure I got this down. You know what I mean? I know my own personality. Chandra Patton, all of this falls in line with trying to get rid of elections. He really dreams of being a permanent dictator. I'm telling you, folks, if we do not kill it in these midterms, I am telling you without any hyperbole, it is over. No matter what they do, no matter what they gerrymander, we have to take power from these people in the midterms. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if you lose your job because you take the day off to vote. It's that serious. Skeet Sarah, we just want enough to eat, sleep, and give my children a better life than mine. I know. That's it. If you do that for the population, they'll do amazing things. They will create things. They will grow things. You know what I mean? The musicians will sprout out of that. The artists will sprout out of that. The scientists will sprout out of that. We'll continue to grow as a species. Just invest in stability and amazing things happen. But, you know, the Broligarchs would rather build bunkers and watch us all die. Mike Daly, the Dim, two things. At the end times, if you're staying here, you're fucked. Two, watch Twilight Zone episode, The Shelter. It doesn't end well. Yeah. Oregon Wine Lady, Paul, right out of the Fallout Gamer show, Vault 33, anyone? There's been a lot of fiction written about this, but you know what? A lot of, it's like the fiction about AI. You know, they had an AI program that thought it murdered somebody. Yeah, this really happened. Didn't get enough news coverage. The AI program thought it was actually wired into the building. It was they were testing it. Then they told the AI program that it was going to shut down. And the scientist that was in a lab that was going to shut it down. It thought it had deprived him of oxygen and killed him to stay. That's not science fiction. That has just happened last, like 2 months ago. And these people are wanting to create AI to replace us because they foresee a future where they have their bunkers and I'm telling you folks, it is sick the vision that these people have for the future. It is sick. I'm going to say Cuban, Terra Cuban. It's almost appears that they are planning a nuke. I don't think that they want to spoil things that badly. If they wanted to erase the population, there are some there's some biological weapons out there that would do the job and leave everything standing. You know what I mean? They don't have to nuke everything. Cape Mary Light, how will they power all that? Yeah, they're going to take the power that we need as a community as a whole and funnel it to themselves. Hermano Adelphi. So now I'm a horde. I'm just here for the Airbnb. Michael Antonsu. There's always a way to destroy a bunker, just like a castle. Yeah, this is the stupidest shit. If you're locked in your bunker, okay, I'll go get, I'll go get a traco, and I'll dig you out. Won't take me a week. This is going back to they're fucking stupid. Remember that portion that we did earlier where I said put a pin in this? They're fucking stupid. Yeah, this is not smart, but they're doing it. They're doing it. They're building the bunkers. These mega rich fuckers are just bored. It's a billionaire's man cave. When masses want to get them, they'll get them. If they want to hide, fine. We will loot them while they cower in fear. They don't understand. They don't understand. You want safety when shit goes bad? Build a community. I don't know. A community. A community. One of these days in the future, somebody's going to say, that fucking Paul guy was smart. E.T., when you have worked to create the conditions where the pitchforks come out, you need to know that you are safe. Are you ready to get involved yet? Yes, exactly. ET, it is less than 26 weeks until your general election. Verify your voter registration and deadline dates. Know your early voting dates. Get involved. This is why I keep telling you, we're building a community here. We're building a community of people that are of above average intelligence. We're building a community of people that understand the big picture, that just want us all, we all do better when we all do better. The old Paul Wellstone quote that I love so much. Paul Wellstone, like John Lewis was one of the people that I look at to say, that's the way to do it. New West Bill, they think this planet is theirs. Population reduction solves all their rich problems. Yes, they do believe in climate change. And they do. They do. They just think that you're going to die and they're not. Yvette Sweet, if you live in California, vote June 2nd. Amen. Amen. Tube Kurt, I really want to recommend Douglas Rushkoff's book, Survival of the Richest. True but bizarre look at a billionaire bunker fantasies. I'm telling you, there's a lot. Go down this rabbit hole. You don't have to spend weeks of your life on it. I'm telling you, a day or two reading about these billionaires and their bunker fantasies, and you'll be like, my God, my God. I mean, just to see the way their minds work. And we're talking about Zuckerberg. We're talking, I mean, they all believe this shit. New West Bill, what happens when the money they pay their army becomes worthless? They're creating their own post apocalypse currencies. What do you think crypto's all about? Yeah. Oregon wine lady, bat is for hashtag bat is for girls, hashtag bar is for boys. I don't know what that means. You have to explain that one to me, Oregon wine lady. I'm not that quick with it today. Mr. Knudsen, Trump don't need anyone. See how that works out, and the 8 to 10 billion people get desperate for just tired of arrogance. We all need friends. Yeah, we are a global community. We are. The world is getting smaller and smaller every day. ET, many of them think that there is no end to the grift, but history shows otherwise. They are afraid of that fact. That things do end and change. Get active. Yeah. We've already outlived the average democracy. I don't know if you know that. The United States has already outlived the average democracy. Kate Marylight, the problem is water. That's not the problem that you think it is. Desalinization is a thing. It is. Management of freshwater systems is a thing. We're not doing either. Folks, there's a town in Arizona. I shit you not, and my brain's not locked in right now. I'll find it for a future show. There's a town in Arizona that there's water there for the people, but there's a mine that owns the rights to it. And the Republicans are siding with the company over the people. The water's there. They're just saying, no, Johnny Got Rocks and his Broligarch bunker bros are more important. Yeah, it's insane, the point of view that these people have. And yes, I agree with you, Kate Marylight. I do. Water management is a challenge. But no, the earth will provide. We just have to be intelligent. I've got an idea. Let's not mine for another grain of salt. Not another grain of salt. Let's take salt from the ocean, leaving behind fresh water to drink that will eventually return back to the ocean. Bluebirds, science and organic water are not contradicting each other. Organic food are not contradicting. Thank you. I appreciate you. E.T., but Paul, that likely would not have put you into a place where you learned many of these lessons that you're teaching us today. We're glad you are here. Yeah, I hear you, but we all have regrets about life's decisions. We do. ET, messaging people, affordability instead of culture wars, Citizens United instead of APAC. Are you ready to get involved? When we do the work, it gets done. Mr. Knudsen, the airstreams are not going to blow nuclear waste and smoke over that region. That's one of the reasons. Yes, that is one of the reasons they picked New Zealand, is that if there's a nuclear Armageddon, it's not a target, and the way the atmosphere currently works, it won't blow fallout over the tops of their bumper. No shit. They're thinking that way. Instead of thinking, hey, you know what? I'm Johnny Got Rocks. I've got some fucking influence. Maybe we should make sure there's never a nuclear exchange. ET, it is not about letting it happen, but causing it. Agent Cajun, I recommend a book by Sylvia Brown, End of Times. She predicted COVID virus in 2008. Check it out. Chandra Patton, being rich doesn't always mean wealthy. I know, right? I know. I am not a wealthy individual, but I've got a very rich life. I had my two of my grandchildren were over yesterday. We had dinner. We made dinner here, and we laughed and we talked about things that are coming up. I am as wealthy as can be. I was thinking about that thing the other day. If I died tomorrow, it's been good. I hope that my children have a life as good as mine. I just hope they're not as stupid about some things. Oh shit, I was a dumbass when I was young. I was one dumb motherfucker when I was young. Whew. People say, "Hey, Paul, would you go back if you could go back to being young again?" And my first question is, do I have to be stupid again? Because if I have to be stupid again, no, I'm not doing that shit again. Big Gizmo 80, let's make these billionaires waste all that money. Amen. I'm with you, brother. That's where I'm at too. Uncle Fatty, they're funding flood the zone narratives. Yep. Yep. Just a couple more and we'll be done. DK Walk, I keep thinking about the billionaire skyscraper builder in the movie San Andreas that gets squashed like a bug on the bridge in World War Z. Yep. Yep. ET. All I wanted was to just be able to read my sci-fi while listening to music, but these people want their stuff that keeps me from that. And now I'm active. I know, right? We're not demanding a lot. We're not. DK, who do you think are going to keep things going after the collapse? Support your local candidates. Runoff election in Texas for lieutenant governor and ag May 26th. Yes, absolutely. Pay attention to the elections. New West Bill, PRS. Yes, yes, yes for the guitar. For those of you who don't know, the guy by the name of McCarty was the genius that he was a genius that worked with Les Paul and coming up with a lot of the modern things we do. Santana partners with PRS. McCarty's started his own company, PRS Guitars, and I think the PRS Strat is actually better than the Fender Strat, but that's just me. I know you didn't want a guitar show. Sandra Pat, okay, I'm bragging. My oldest great grandson has been accepted at Father Ryan High School in Nashville. Congratulations, Chandra. Congratulations. That's the good stuff, man. That is the good stuff right there. Congratulations. Bat mitzvah, 4 girls, bars for boys. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Bat mitzvahs for girls, bar mitzvahs for. I'm not Jewish. I'm sorry. I did not know that. I learned something new today. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do. Jeff Schuler, Peter Thiel was given a New Zealand citizenship in weeks instead of years. It usually takes start over, son. Peter Thiel was given a New Zealand citizenship in weeks instead of the years it usually takes because he built a huge bunker complex there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, go down this rabbit hole. Spend a little time. Mandolia, there are plenty of great online resources to learn music and riffs these days. All I had back in the day was an $8 Kmart guitar, a $1 a month allowance, vinyl records, and reel-to-reel tape. I hear you, brother. If you want it bad enough, you can do it. I just know I'm not disciplined. I can use the help. Folks, I love you people. I know I went really long today, but I really feel like this is one of the most important shows we've ever done. They're really building these bunkers, folks, and they're building them to use them. They're building them to use them. They really, really have made these mental and these mental decisions. We're not the same. Get involved. But in the meantime, enjoy some Texas cities at night.